Hey guys, it's Chamtalk here, just snuck on for a couple of cheeky games of Arena after taking a little study break, and thought I'd record them for you so we can see how they go. So let's jump into some ranked, play some more Lurrus Grixis. Okay, so this hand isn't amazing, but I see my opponent is on Lurrus of the Dream Den, which would suggest an aggressive deck, so this could be cyclic. Or it could be some other sort of aggressive deck, in which case having a lot of removal available seems a lot better. Not having access to my other colors of mana is a problem, obviously, but my hand at the moment is mono black and I have double black for all of these casting costs, so I don't need much to go right for at least these cards to be playable. So I'm going to keep this and see how we go. Yeah, in another situation, if I hadn't seen this companion here, I definitely wouldn't keep this hand. Okay, so this could be the Jeskai cycling list. Oh, well this is nice. So I'll open on passage. Our opponent's being friendly as well. Hello. I'm going to open on passage and rustle up another color of mana. I don't have a turn 1 play, so starting on attack land is fine. And this way from turn 2 I have Heartless Act open. So we'll see what my opponent does. Okay, so they're on Grixis as well. This is a Grixis, another Grixis Lurrus list. Interesting. So it could be a more controlling list then, so I may end up regretting keeping this hand. And not fetching that. Just about to say, if I see a Thought Erasure here, I'll honestly consider just conceding to avoid revealing information about my hand. That seems a little unsporting though. Let's just go ahead. I assume they take Lurrus here. This would be interesting, potentially a mirror match here. It'll probably be either a Rider or Lurrus. Okay, so Lurrus. Probably don't want us getting the Lurrus Croxa combo online. Dropping of the Devil. Yeah, so this does seem to be a more control-y list. So I do think I hold up the Riders at this point. I'm going to play our Temple of Malice for the Scry, and okay, Mystical Dispute's not bad, that could be useful. So this lets me Scry and also enables Croxa next turn. It does unfortunately mean our opponent has perfect information on our hand, but that's fine. Yep, so it looks like they're also on a Lurrus Croxa list. Discovery does play quite nicely with Croxa, obviously, filling the graveyard. They've dropped another Bedevil. Play out this one. Play out Croxa, and I've got Mystical Dispute and or Heartless Act for next turn. Let's see what they bid. See what they bid here. Fetching a Fabled Passage. Okay, so they get Heartless Act. That's tapped and pass turn. Interesting. Okay, so do I slam the Thought Erasure, knowing that they could have counter magic? I think I hold it up. I think I wait until I can Thought Erase and hold up Mystical Dispute, because we're at that stage of the game where I could play this, have it countered, and then they could play a Bolus next turn. And while I do have answers to Bolus here, I'd rather stop it from hitting the board. Okay, so they're gonna get Lurrus. Oh, of course they can't play Bolus. They could still be playing Counter Magic though. They can't play Bolus because of the restriction on Lurrus, so that's silly. So I might as well go for the Thought Erasure. If they have a counter spell, they have a counter spell. There's nothing super threatening they can do next turn. Yep, neutralize. Fine. Obviously I'll go for the Heartless Axe here. They don't have anything to play out of their yard. They could well have another counter spell here, that's fine. Yep, that's absolutely fine. So they are tapped out for next turn, for this turn, sorry, leaving me free to do this one. Try again. I could be holding up Mystical Dispute here. And then I also play out Soul Guide Lantern. So there is nothing in their graveyard. They can play with Lurrus. Mind you, playing it as a companion means they don't have other Lurruses, but they could potentially have Call of the Dream Dweller. So I'm going to get rid of the Lurrus here. It's unlikely they're playing away to recur their instants or sorceries. I'm thinking maybe Chandra 3, they can't play that because of the restriction on Lurrus. I don't know what other things they could have that would allow them to fetch out of the yard. But if they are on Croxa, they definitely are. I see a Lazav here. Then Soul Guide Lantern is a bit of a problem for them. So I could draw a card here, but I think it's better to hold up the Lantern to stop them getting the Croxa Lazav combo. Obviously a land would be really nice here. A land at any point would be very nice. I think what I do here is play out the Murderous Rider. Obviously Angrath's Rampage is more efficient, but I don't really have anything to do with the extra mana because I want to keep Soul Guide up. And also they're aware of the riders. So I'd rather not give them more information. And it also means next turn I can play it out as a threat. I can also, when I get the mana, recur my Croxa, but I really need to start drawing into some land. Devil. Okay, so in response, I will exile the graveyard, stop them from bringing back the Croxa if they have one in hand. Okay, so what do I pitch here? I think I pitch the Rider, just to protect information on my hand. Angrath's Rampage will kill everything that I care about just as cleanly. So I'm going to play this out and bring back Croxa to get the last card out of the hand. Again, I'm not going to exile the Soul Guide Lantern as that's something I can replay with Lurrus, whereas none of these can be. I definitely was not expecting to play a mirror match. It's quite interesting. So if they don't have an answer to this quite soon, it's probably going to be game over. I assume they know I'm holding up a Mystical Dispute. Soul Guide Lantern's very nice. So they could have removal here. Lane Sweep. That's not going to cut it. That's an interesting main deck. I have not been seeing a lot of aggro on the ladder, so I don't know what that's for. Play out this rider. Get a little more pressure on the board. Obviously next turn I've got my Soul Guide Lantern to deal with their graveyard again. Drown in the lock. Okay, so I think I Mystical Dispute this. They obviously can pay it, but if they do pay it, they can't bring back Croctops. Obviously get rid of the Croxer here, and that's the concession. Okay, so Dreadhorde Butcher, definitely. An extra Soul Guide Lantern is nice. Cry of the Carnarium could have some fringe uses for exiling everything in graveyards to get rid of Croxer. I don't think that's the way forward in this matchup, though. I think Chandra might be nice, just as an extra top-end threat, because it's something that my opponent can't play. Ditto the Shark Typhoons. So, Extinction Event is handy as an answer to a permanent answer to Croxer, but I don't think I need 3 of them and 3 Soul Guide Lanterns. The targeted removal is still quite nice. Obviously, Murderous Rider and Rampage are a little more flexible than Heartless Act, but I don't think this version of Lurrus that my opponent's on plays Planeswalkers. So I think the instant speed on Heartless Act makes it a little more valuable than Angrath's Rampage. Mystical Dispute, still nice. I need to make 3 more cuts. I would like to bring in Narset if I could, but I don't know that she's as useful in this matchup. The Lurrus Grixis lists are more about grinding out advantage through like recurring things from the graveyard or recurring Croxer to attack your opponent's hand rather than drawing. I will be on the play, so I can cut a land. And I think I just cut 2 opts and called it a day. I don't know if I necessarily need Chandra for this matchup, but she could be nice to have. Grixis can't really gain life, so something that creates recurring damage like that can be quite nice. Okay, so this hand is pretty sexy. I would have liked maybe a 3rd land instead of a Lantern and having all 3 colors, but I've got turn 2 Butcher into another Butcher even if I don't draw a land, and then I've got Lurrus to recur them if they die, so this is a definite keep. Mystical Dispute is nice, but I don't have the mana to cast it. I'm going to put this tapped. There's no point playing a Soul Guide Lantern now other than to protect it from Thought Erasure, but I have 2. And also if they're stealing Soul Guide Lantern, they're not hitting a Butcher, which is the bigger problem. So this is not a hand my opponent's going to want to see. I've got a counterspell, I've got 2 Butchers which they may struggle to deal with. Lurrus, obviously, as I said, high value target against most opponents, and 2 Soul Guide Lanterns which somewhat shut down their strategy. I really need to hope I draw into lands soon. Ideally blue lands. This could be another Thought Erasure then, I assume. Okay, there's that, that's fine. Let's see what they've been. Also playing off. See, I told you guys, it's good in this list. So Temple of Malice with the Scry. Blue land, yes please. So I think what I do here is play out the second Butcher and swing. Obviously Lazav blocks the 1-1, but it means the other one grows, and I ping for 1 place. We do want to be as aggressive with these Butchers as we can. Also knowing that further down the line, once I get a Lurrus, if I get a Lurrus on board, I can bring them back. Okay, so the question now is, do I Thought Erase? It looks like they're holding up counter mana. So I think I swing first. And see how my opponent responds. Heartless Act. I think I just dispute that and keep the pressure on them. So if I had cast Thought Erasure, they could have cast Heartless Act in response. Of course I would have killed their Lazav. But I would no longer be on the board. So I don't think it matters what I target here. A little bit of lag there. So since I had the spare mana, I just wanted to get this on the board. It also means it's safe from any hand hate spells that they're playing. I assume they swing with Lazav here, yep. Happy to take 1 damage. The Devil, that's fine. And I think we just kill off Lazav here. So I think now we go for the Thought Erasure. They could be holding up a Mystical Dispute of their own, but they do have the 3 mana to pay it. Okay, they're not. It's Bedevil, Drown in the Loch, and Extinction Event. I think I take Drown in the Loch. It's the most versatile of the cards that they're showing. Shark Typhoon is nice. Obviously they're going to try to Bedevil my Soul Guide Lantern at some point. I think I just play out the other one to protect myself from hand hate. I'll obviously get rid of the Lazav here, as they can play that from their graveyard if they play Lurrus. And it also means at end of turn I can, if I want, sack one of these to draw a card. However, I think I'm better just leaving them on the battlefield to deal with whatever goes in my opponent's graveyard. Okay, yep. Lurrus to hand. So my opponent doesn't have any plays they could make here. Okay, so I don't like that it lights it up like this. It keeps making me think I can hardcast it. So I'm 1 mana away from hardcasting. It is tempting to perhaps hold on to it to do that, as obviously it would be very difficult for this deck, my opponent's deck, to combat a resolved Shark Typhoon. Given I don't have the lands though, I think I'm better off just checking there's nothing in their graveyard. I think I'm better off just cycling it to draw a card and create a threat. That's fine. Yeah, I do have 4 more of these in my deck to draw into. Even though my opponent has answers to the token, I'm still going to draw a card, so it's card advantage for me. Yep, we are definitely experiencing some lag here. I'm not going to bother attacking, unless I draw into an answer for Lurrus. So I'm going to take the Bedevil here so they can't target my lanterns. and so that if they do want to get rid of my token, they need to spend more mana to do it. And waste an extinction event, which is their only effective answer to Crocs Up. Unless they've also brought in Lanterns. So I think their list should be running Soul Guide Lantern. I don't know if it is or not. I'm going to kill Lurrus while I know they don't have an answer. I think Lurrus did become a lot worse as a companion in this list with the nerf, because it becomes really difficult to play him and get guaranteed value. Because you have to take him to the hand first where he's vulnerable and spend that extra turn. It became a lot more inefficient, and this list was very much about efficiency. So I do feel I just have the advantage in this game as I've got more copies of Lurrus and my deck can go slightly bigger. Has access to things like Shark Typhoon. Okay, I can start drawing an extra card a turn without sacrificing my Lanterns. I expect they may be holding up the Croxy here. That's fine, there's nothing I can do about this. Thinking, wait, I can play that as an instant, but it doesn't have targets. So I will draw a card. A low price of 1 life. Oh, and it's a Lurrus. So this is going to be a difficult situation for my opponent to get out of. Oh, Chandra. So I was thinking Lurrus into Dreadhorde Butcher. They have the extinction event, but that can only get rid of one of those permanents. But having drawn the Chandra, I think we play that. Can't be countered, in case they're holding up Custom Magic, which we've seen they do play. Could be Ethergust here. But they're on a low life.
Start at a sizzle and see if you make it to the Inferno.
Low life
just
total.
Me? Or is it getting a little
no
warm
life
in
gain,
here?
So they're basically already dead at this point. They have 8 turns to find a way to kill me. Even if they remove Chandra this turn, I mean. Obviously the damage will keep accruing from that point. And next turn I've got Lurrus into Dreadhorde Butcher. Okay, they've got some kind of instant speed something here. Okay, Dispersal. I think I discard the Chandra. She's done her work, she's going to kill them eventually. So I'm actually going to play out the Soul Guide Lantern just to test the waters. Basically that was just to see how quickly that resolved, to see if my opponent's holding up counter magic. It doesn't seem like they are. So Lurrus, Dreadhorde Butcher. So there are now 2 threatening permanents on the board for my opponent to deal with, whereas if I'd kept Chandra and played her, it would have only been 1, and they're still taking the damage from Chandra anyway. So, rock in a hard place, basically. I don't know why I'm getting roped there, but there you go. Obviously having some lag issues. Yep, good game. So that was a fun little match. Yeah, I'd chalk that up to our deck going slightly bigger than theirs and also probably a slightly better sideboarding plan. I didn't see any graveyard hate. Okay, up against Starfall 05 here in the Urian Sky Nomad list, so probably some sort of blue-white base control. Run the play, which is nice. Hand's not amazing, it's also not bad. I have all my colors of mana. I have Opt, a couple of Croxes to mess up their hand a bit. I would obviously much rather something like Thought Erasure, like targeted disruption, but I think this is capable. So I think I lead on Steam Vents. I'm going to shock in. Generally in these sorts of matchups, life total doesn't matter too much until you're getting down to like maybe 10 or a bit lower. And enter. And that way also I have a red mana available and I'm more likely to draw untapped black than anything else, so it reduces my chances of having a shock in next turn to play Croxer. Which I may not do anyway. I don't know how valuable turn 2 Croxer necessarily is. Shark Typhoon is not bad. I can cycle it in a few turns. Soul Guide Lantern. So do they play anything that allows me to get value from this? So Urian decks that I know are usually Azorius or Jeskai. This would be good if they had something like an Uro, if they were going green as well, which they may well be. But we don't know. I think I hang on to it. It costs 1 mana. It's likely I'll be able to sneak it in somewhere else on my curve. And yeah, I don't see a particular rush to play Croxes. They're actually more effective when my opponent's played a few cards. Okay, so this is an enchantment list. Interesting. So this essentially ramps them. Okay, and it's Esper. I see Esper colors. So yeah, unlikely to rely too much on graveyard shenanigans. So I think I play this. So Starfield Mystic allows them to play Doom Foretold next turn. So the question is, do I Angrath Rampage this, or do I Croxer? I think I go with the Rampage. And then I think I play Soul Guide Lantern just because I have the spare mana up. Gets it off the board, so if I do see a Doom Foretold I can sack this to it. I can draw a card next turn if I want to. But yeah, I obviously don't know what's in this list. I'm not familiar with Esper Urian lists. So I don't know if I get value from this or not, so I'd rather just use my mana effectively. Scry to the top, that's often not a good sign. Fortunately haven't seen Thought Erasure from my opponent yet. So, I can play Croxer here, or I can hold up Shark Typhoon to make a 2-2. I think I hold up the Shark Typhoon. My opponent has some kind of instant speed. Omen of the Sea, yep, I did expect to see that in the list. I don't think I've seen a Urian list that doesn't run this. And yeah, I just hold up an end of turn Shark Typhoon. 2-2 is not super impressive, but draws us a card, gives them a permanent to think about. Another Starfield Mystic. So I could Heartless Act it. Myth of Kaya, that's fine. I'm glad they played that now. So as I said, I could Heartless Act it, but I think I'd rather get on the board. I think I again go Heartless Act. Apologise for the lag issues. Into Proxer. Then play out the temple. Another Shark Typhoon is nice, and I can actually hard cast that next turn. Doom Foretold seems fine. Obviously my opponent has more things to sacrifice than I do. Yep. Non-token permanent, so this guy's safe. So having the Doom Foretold on the battlefield makes playing the Shark Typhoon a slightly worse idea. So if this pops, it's been a while since I played against this, so I'm just reading it. If I can't, I discard a card, lose 2 life, my opponent draws a card, gains 2 life, and creates a knight. Okay, so potentially my best play is to empty my hand out here. Eventually this is going to go off. So I could make a 4/4 token, or another 2/2, but I think getting a card out of my opponent's hand is valuable here. Decision for my opponent there. Okay, so they've gone with Shadow the Sky. They'll probably sacrifice the Oath of Kaya. Psychic. Yep, Urian to hand. Okay. My turn. So before that resolves, I should have done this during my opponent's end step. That was very foolish of me. Very happy to discard a Fabled Passage. So the plan was to do this at the end of turn, pop Doom Foretold and bring back Grixis. Obviously I can't do that now. I forgot my own line of play and tried to get too clever. And that's fine, we just get in for 2 here. My opponent opponent can Urian next turn, but okay, that's an interesting play. They could have Urianed next turn to flash that and get another card. They'd rather scry, 2 to the bottom is good. It means that they do play Urian this turn, they don't have anything on board to get value, unless of course they play something out of their hand. We don't know what these 2 cards are. Okay, so that's a pretty nice turn for them. So it has to be 6 or more to turn them into creatures. So opponents found something they like there. So I think I search up another red source here. It's fine, I have nothing to discard. Okay, Mystical Dispute could be nice. Bring back Croxer here. I think we do get in for 4. Opponent is unfortunately back up at a nice healthy life total, and our life is getting a bit low. Of the Sea, that's fine. Hopefully they try to play Urian here and we can counter. Does look like they're setting up for a greedy Urian turn. Doom, Foretold. Okay, counter that as well. So my opponent could be holding up a dispute of their own, of course. They're not. Opponent has to block Croxer here. Oh, sorry, they don't have to. They have things to discard, don't they? So that's 10 damage if they don't block. Yep. I was hoping we could draw into something that would go into the yard to bring back the other Croxer and get Urian out of their hand, but that was not today. Yep. So that does make attacking a little bit more difficult. Obviously I can't attack with Token, they can kill it with Urian. And if I attack with just Croxer, they can double block to kill it. I assume they attack with the Knight here, it does have Vigilance, yep. That's fine. Obviously they ping me for 3 here. So I go down to 4. and they go back up to 12, which is unfortunate. I'm going to draw a card here. I know my life total's quite low, but I need to draw into something to help me out here. That's not it. That's not it either. Heartless Act is okay, if a little slow. So if I attack with Cruxer, they can afford to just let it through, and then potentially crack back for 6. Obviously I can block. I would need to block the Urian. But either way they can attack with Urian next turn. So I think it's better to attack, put a bit of pressure on them, see how they respond. I was going to say, if they do opt to double block, this goes into the bin and I can escape again. Okay. So if our opponent has Oath of Kaya, that's lethal. Yep. GG. Okay, so I think Narset's helpful here. Dreadhorde Butcher is definitely helpful here. Chandra maybe, and even maybe Soul Guide Lantern just to have a cheap permanent on the board to sack. They're probably playing Teferi, so Noxious Grasp could be helpful, but we do also have Murderous Rider. What I don't need is Extinction Event. I don't know that I need Angrath's Rampage. I don't know that I need Heartless Act. Obviously, I think in this matchup, Noxious Grasp may just be a strictly better Heartless Act. We have 3 more cuts to make. I do like Mystical Dispute here. I do like Shark Typhoon. I don't know how helpful Chandra will be, because this deck does have a lot of life gain, and also potentially access to Ethergust. So, but she can be a nice finisher if I manage to get enough pressure with Butcher and Cruxer. I don't know how helpful Rampage is. They don't really play a lot of creatures. They obviously have Urian, and I think the only other creatures in Doom Foretold lists are the Night tokens from Doom Foretold and enchantments that are brought back. So I think we can cut the Rampage and just rely on the 4 riders. So I have 1 more cut to make. As I said, Chandra might be the correct cut here. I'm going to go with Opt and just see how we go with this. Okay, so I have turn 2 Butcher, way to protect it, and some Disruption. This looks good, particularly on the play. I do think I shock in the Watery Grave to play Opt. This isn't a deck that pressures my life total particularly aggressively. And I also have Mystical Dispute up, but I don't think they have a turn 1 blue play. Yep, land is good. Untapped land is even better, means turn 3 I can Thought Erase and hold up Mystical Dispute. So I'm also fairly certain this deck does not have any 2-mana creature removal, so it's likely the only way they get rid of Dreadhorde Butcher is Oath of Kaya. That works too. They don't get the wall yet. That's important. So, Sword Erasure. So they have another Birth of Meletis, which is unfortunate, and they have Teferi Time Raveler. So Teferi is obviously the juicier target. The issue is the Birth of Meletis will get them 2 walls, being able to block both of my butchers. So I think what I do is take Birth, hoping that they play Teferi and I can dispute it. Another Mystical Dispute. That does seem okay. I'm ahead on board and probably will be for the next few turns. So having a way available to protect my board state seems juicy. So I assume we see Teferi here. Shock in. Second Butcher. Swing with both. Obviously they've lost the 3-3, but this way the other one can get in and through. Now they may well be running Shadow the Sky. But if they do play that, they take 5 to the face, go down to 11. So the question is, do I Thought Erase to take something from their hand, or hold up Mystical Dispute? What could they play that's blue? Potentially another Teferi if they draw it. I think I go with Thought Erasure. I'm more worried about them having something to remove this. They don't, so what they've drawn into was another land. Taking a Dance of the Manse is not bad. Castle Locktwain also not bad. As I'm down to 1 card in hand, so being able to refuel at a minimal loss of life is good. So we're just hoping they haven't drawn a Teferi or an Oath of Kaya right now. Starjet Mystic is fine. Obviously it does kill one of my butchers. Yep. Okay, they choose to just block 1. So they're now both 3-3. So that's fine. I'm holding up Dispute, and if they don't play anything, I've got Castle Locktwain to activate end of turn. What are they searching for in their graveyard? Down to the Manse targets. I think we dispute that. As the bursts will allow them to make 2 more walls and basically stall my board state. So now they're back at a difficult decision of throwing Starfield Mystic in front of a Dreadhorde Butcher. I can still activate Castle Locktwain. Ah, of course, it's blue and white. I get it for the 1 mana. Taking their time with the Scry, decide they liked what they saw. Do they attack with the Mystic? They're thinking about it. Yep. So we are guaranteed to get through with one of our butchers next turn, which means it's the right size to draw me a card if they do get Shadow the Sky. Okay, so I think we play the Opt first. Chandra seems good. Another land, not so much. So again, we can activate Locktwain end of turn. Life total is getting a bit low. Elspeth Conquers Death. doesn't do what you want it to do. But it will bring them back at Teferi in a couple of turns. So I think I live dangerously and activate Locked again. So I do take 2 damage for this card, which sucks. Another mountain, not that important. Okay, so do I play Chandra? I think I do. If I do, do I tick up or kill something off? So if I'm -3, I lose one of my butchers, but take out both of their blockers. I think I play Chandra this turn. Next turn I can't play her because of the tax from Elspeth Conquer's death. So if I'm -3, Mystic dies, Butcher dies, deals damage to the wall, kills the wall, opponent takes 4, goes to 9. I then have another Butcher, I can start ticking up. The alternative is I just tick up. The other alternative is attack first, see how my opponent responds, and make a decision afterwards. Okay. So I think here we finish up the wall.
Early is the best way to destroy things.
So opponent could have Shattered the Sky. That leaves Chandra on the board. Okay, no Shatter the Sky, drawing into Urian. Are they holding up counter magic? So they're going to take 7 here, which will leave them on 6. So we tick up.
Let's get toast.
I think I do play the other Butcher. Enables me to go hard for 1 life. So our opponent takes 8 here. Left on 5. They take 1 damage next turn. So either of these butchers is lethal. Good game. So obviously that went quite well for us. We can't really expect to be so lucky next game. I'm going to take out 1 Temple of Deceit. So we're on the play, we can cut a land. And I think I just bring back an Opt. I assume my opponent will be bringing back in Shatter the Sky. It looks like they took it out for that match. Or do I want a Noxious Grasp to answer Teferi? So the issue is it doesn't answer Teferi particularly cleanly because I need to wait until the turn afterwards. It's not the sort of thing you want to hold up. And there aren't really many other targets for Murderous Rider. Yeah, no, I think I leave it out. So it doesn't look like our opponent changed too much in their sideboarding. They were definitely ready for us. Okay, again we have turn 2 Butcher, followed up by Court Erasure. So we do have to shock in twice to get it, but that's okay. Starfield Mystic, that's fine. Another island, doesn't seem that great. So I will play the Butcher and attack him off in the trade. Oh, my opponent did not learn from last time, so they could have Oath of Kaya here, obviously. Devout Decree, that works too. Maybe I should have thought erasure first. No, I still think getting the butcher down early is the correct play. Start picking at their hand now. Okay, so I think we definitely take Treacherous Blessing here. Another thought erasure is nice. So opponent will be chipping in with the Starfield Mystic, which is unfortunate. Yep, gets the Urian. Double thought erasure. And we get rid of Urian. Yeah, another land is nice. And get rid of the Oath of Kaya. So next turn I can play out a Murderous Rider as a blocker. Their only answer to it is to Shatter the Sky. They can't do it for something with Oath of Kaya. Of course they could have Doom Foretold here. Lost with Conquer's Death, that's a clean answer as well. Okay, so I think at this point I switch ends to make sure this is off the battlefield. Shock in, play another rider. Our life total is very low. I don't like it at all. I assume they Shatter the Sky here to stop me getting the life. Okay, nasty.
Focus and discipline. I have just the trick for this.
So Mystical Dispute would have been nice there, but it's fine. Okay, that's fine. They can only create a 1/1 with that at the moment. I was going to say a Oath of Kaya at that point is pretty much game over. So I assume they may cycle here to save Narset, or in an attempt to save Narset. They can of course bring it back with Elspeth the next turn. Could have been a mistake. Maybe I should have gone face so that they could only resurrect the Mystic. Okay, I've made a mistake. I'll wear that. Oops.
This was overwhelming.
Okay. So I've got Mystical Dispute held up if they try to hardcast the Typhoon. I assume they bring back Narset again. The other option is the Starfield Mystic or the Urian. Urian means they could blink Elspeth and get rid of my rider. Not a terrible play. Okay, they go for the Starfield Mystic. So I get less punished than I thought I might. So it's a 3/3. Fine. 4/4? How did that happen? Ah, whenever an enchantment goes into the graveyard. Oath of Kaya. Sure, I assume this kills the rider. Up, going face, okay. My turn. Okay, so do I attack with both? So they can Shark Typhoon for 2 here. And I potentially lose both of my units. They can block Murderous Rider and kill it. If they get greedy and try to kill both, I can kill off the Starfield Mystic. But at this point I think I need to try and gain a bit of life. Of course, I have left myself open to lethal crackback from the Typhoon. I had not considered that. So I need to do this. And that's game. Well, I do have to wear that. I made a couple of misplays there. Obviously that last one clearly lost me the game. So no point being salty about that. Okay, we are up against Cretu, who's running Gigantha as their companion, so that could mean just about anything, couldn't it? Not the best hand in the world. A little strapped on colours, but they could play the passage, crack it for blue, and turn to opt, which isn't the worst plan in the world. Okay, so that's quite an aggressive start. So this is sort of an aggro go wide deck. We've got Extinction Event to do a bit of cleanup. Okay, Foretold Knights. Potentially even Mardu Knights. Yep. Nothing I can do about this. Heartless Act up the top would be really nice here. To get rid of that worthy knight. We are not so lucky. Swamp's good. Let's just cast the Rider on turn 3. That crit. So obviously I need to get this worthy knight off the board as quickly as possible. Swamp, Rider, yep. So our life total is getting quite low at this point, but fortunately we have the Extinction Event. Odd. They will be left with the token. But they don't get the death trigger of the knights. Okay, so here I can play out Murderous Rider and have Heartless Act help out. Blackland's Paragon. Seems fine. Dire Tactics. Exiles a creature, that's fine. So I'll hold my fire. Yep. The sack, kill the Paragon, and our opponent scoops it off. They must not have had a very good hand then. Okay, so Maya's Grasp is great here as repeatable removal. We can chain it through Lurrus. Noxious Grasp seems good. Cry the Carnarium seems good. So does Enter the God Eternals. Chandra is a consideration if the game does go long. Dreadhorde Butcher can help us contest the battlefield, but those are both secondary considerations. Mystical Dispute, not very good here. Thought Erasure, probably also not very good here. It could potentially catch an Embercleave, but we didn't see red. It could just be Orzhov Knights. But with these sort of strategies, I would rather be impacting the board. I don't think I need the Soul Guide Lanterns either, as I don't really think they play out of the graveyard. Shark Typhoon's a little bit slow, but it does create a body, so I'm going to keep it in there. Croxa, again, slow, not really what I want to be doing, but it's one of my win conditions, so I think it's good to leave it in there. So that leaves me with 3 slots. Is there anything else I need to cut here? I don't think so. So with 3 slots, I think I can afford to bring in 1 Chandra, and I'll bring in 2 Butchers as well. So the Butcher can attack if it comes to that, but it can also block a 1/1, kill another 1/1. It can just act as a bad removal spell. It definitely was nice to get the game 1 win there. That puts us in a much better position. I could have also cut a land, which I didn't think of. But it puts us in a much better position to take this game. Okay, so a lot of land, but I do have turn 2 removal and turn 3 Cry of the Carnarium, so I'm going to keep this. Beat on Temple of Malice, scry any land to the bottom at this point. Yep, that's fine. Murderous Rider seems good. So then I can turn 2, one of these tapped, and turn 3 Locktwain untapped, Cry the Carnarium, so I won't need to shock in unless there's a Mustang threat played this turn. Okay, so opponent likely holding up Blacklands Paragon. I think I'm willing to take the 3 damage, knowing that I have the sweeper. Yep. So that means that they get a counter on Knight of the Ebon Legion, which is unfortunate. Okay, so they take the Cry of the Carnarium, I suppose. Yep. So now we are in a little bit of a pickle. So that was a very good turn for our opponent. So if I kill Veteran, it takes 4 total power off the battlefield here. 2 from the Veteran itself, 1 here, 1 there, so I think it's my best target. Okay, after that blowout on turn 2, it seems unlikely that we come back here. Yep, so that's game. That's obviously pretty much how those Knight decks want to play. So it's pretty much an ideal hand for them. So I think we keep like this and hope for better luck in game 3. Of course I'll take the play. Okay, so I have Maya's Grasp, Extinction Event, Dreadhorde Butcher. It's not a bad card, bad hand. It's not the best, not bad. Shark Typhoon obviously a little bit slow here. And obviously I'd like to see some more black mana. So this comes in untapped. Depending what I see turn 1 here, I may shock into Butcher. Well, there we go. The unstoppable power of my deck carries the day. So we're going to call it a day there, folks. Obviously that was a bit of a non-game in the final one there. I'm guessing my opponent may have kept a 0 land hand with a bunch of 1-drops, thinking they only had to draw a land. But yeah, we take the wins where we get them. Thanks for tuning in, guys. You've been great, and I'll catch you all later.